Hey everybody, AC here, and welcome to part 6 of my Sonic timeline theory. So, this time we are talking about the boom era of the Sonic timeline. Unfortunately, the boom games are canon to the Sonic timeline because Sonic Frontiers makes references to Styx the Badger, who only appears in Sonic Boom. So, after after the events, after the events of Sonic Forces, Team Sonic Racing takes place next. And we know it takes place. We know it takes place next because several of the characters reference the events of Sonic Forces. So it's still fresh in everybody's minds. It's still fresh in all the characters' minds. The events of Sonic Forces are still fresh in everyone's minds. And Eggman. It turns out Eggman is back to his old schemes once again. But his his current scheme is rather silly and lackluster and not very well thought out. It certainly doesn't seem like the meticulous calculations of the mad genius that we saw previously. This plan of his feels more goofy, and feels more goofy and not as serious. And this would basically just be the first instance of his goofy nature that would be consistent throughout most of this era. After that, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy all decide that they want to get away for a while. They've rebuilt civilization after the events of Sonic Forces. They entered a racing tournament just for fun, and now they just want to get away for a while, and they want to just relax and just enjoy some nice peace and quiet together. And so they end up going to a series of islands where the Sonic Boom series takes place. Sonic Boom: Rise of Lyric, Sonic Boom: Shattered Crystal are the first two games to take place in after Sonic Team Sonic Racing. And we know that Shattered Crystal has to take place after Rise of Lyric because in Sonic Crystal, Amy is battling Lyric. Amy is battling Lyric at the start of the game, and she knows who he is. She knows who he is, and she's not having that much difficulty against him, but she underestimates him. She ultimately underestimates him and gets herself captured. And that's when we get introduced to Styx the Badger. We get introduced to Styx the Badger. Well, technically, we got introduced to her in Rise of Lyric as an NPC, but in Shattered Crystal, we actually get to play as her. And that's when she becomes a permanent member of the team. She becomes a permanent member of the team while they're here on the islands. After Shattered Crystal, the events of the Sonic Boom show take place. The events of the Sonic Boom show take place. We see the daily wacky adventures that they all have. And Eggman is just kind of like nuts. He's just gone cuckoo. He's gone completely cuckoo because of his time stuck in null space. It's caused him to go insane. So his mind is not fully there. But after the events of the show, the last Sonic Boom game takes place. Sonic Boom: Fire and Ice. And in this game, we start to see Eggman start to regain his senses, start to regain his intelligence. Like his trauma from being stuck in null space is finally starting to fade, and he's starting to become the evil genius he once was before. His current plan in Fire and Ice is still not that meticulously calculated, but it is starting to go back to how he was before. So we know that he's transitioning back into the evil genius we know and love to hate. So after that, that's when the events of Sonic Prime happens. Sonic Prime happens after Sonic Boom. And we know now. We don't really know why it has to take place. We don't really know why it takes place. Where this show takes place. Technically, we don't know where it takes place. We know it's canon, but we don't know where it takes place. I'm guessing that it is taking place here because this is the point. This is the point in time where Eggman, and all of his zany craziness that we saw throughout the Sonic Boom franchise, it finally comes to a halt. It finally all comes to a halt. When the Prismacore is shattered and Sonic is sent to various different various alternate dimensions, we get to see the Egg Council, which all 5 members of the Egg Council are basically all different parts of Eggman's personality, different parts of Eggman's genius. And we see that all 5 of them are just a little bit insane. They're all just a little bit insane, but when they come together and work as a team, they're a formidable force. And so when the events of Sonic Prime after the events of Sonic Prime happen, and the Prime timeline is restored, Eggman is fully back to normal. He's no longer super crazy, super insane. He's back to his old self. He is fully back to his old self. So, I firmly believe that is when Sonic Prime takes place, and that is the Boom era. That is the Boom era of Sonic the Hedgehog. And that was part 6 of my Sonic the Hedgehog timeline theory. Next up is part 7, the final part to my Sonic the Hedgehog timeline theory. For now. Because Sonic's not done. Sonic's still going. There's still going to be plenty more Sonic games to come in the future, but this is where we're basically at currently. This is where we are currently at in 2025. So, with that said, that's going to be it for this episode. So, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did enjoy, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good jazz, and join me in the next episode for the final part of my Sonic timeline theory. Take care, everyone.